Okay. Uh, Good afternoon. Hi, friends. Good afternoon from China. Uh, Welcome to Airwoods Liveshow. I'm John.
And I'm Wayne. Firstly, we'd like to thank you, our colleagues Rita and Cici, for their presentation of EcoSmart Pro Plus version of ERP. And in our part right now, we'd like to briefly introduce about Airwoods. Airwoods is founded in 2007, and we are one of the biggest engineer and designing companies in China. Our business mainly focuses on two parts. The first one is providing customized HVAC solution and equipment including AHU, ERE, HRU, water chiller unit for commercial buildings and industrial plants. And the second part is the turnkey one-stop clean room services, including the professional consultant and advanced design, package supply, site installation, and commissioning. And right now, if you are doing business in these fields, welcome to send us inquiry of your projects. And in March, we have an online promotion on Alibaba about March Expo promotion. During this month, if you have any inquiry or order, we have huge discounts from 5% to 10%, and including the free clean room design. If you have any of those relevant projects, please feel free to contact us.
Uh, yes, Wayne. So, if you have this cleaning project, don't hesitate to ask the
Yes.
inquiry right now. Yeah. Okay. Today, our topic is about PCR laboratory.
Yes.
Due to the pandemic outbreak worldwide, PCR lab demand is increasing sharply during the last 2 years.
Yes.
And now it is mandatory for the pre-A class 3 hospital to
关
build
声
a
音就
PCR
是
lab in China. So we think PCR
麦
laboratory
克
will
风和
be
这个音频
infrastructure
输入的
for
关。
the
其实我
government
不知道麦克风有没有关系，那反正我都会关。
Yes, Journey, you are talking about the speaking on the spot quickly, and we maybe many of you in front of the computer. This could be the first time for you to hear about the PCR. Okay, so I would like to explain more on the definition of the PCR lab and the functions of the PCR lab. PCR is short for polymerase chain reaction, and it is a chemical reaction harnessed to detect and identify the trace bits of DNA. It is a relatively simple and inexpensive tool that is used every day in China in those hospitals to diagnose the disease and further to provide reliable test basis for the clinical treatment. And PCR lab is constructed to create a safe working environment for the tester members. And to construct a PCR lab, we need to follow strict design and construction standards. Johnny and I are going to introduce the key information about the organization of PCR lab by combining the real site pictures, design drawings, and video. So please stay with us and feel free to text your questions with our streamers and send us any inquiry or email if you have. Our engineer team is waiting online to give you feedback.
Yes, when you give a short definition of the PCR lab.
Yes.
So I'm clearly know what PCR lab is and its function. Okay, today our show have four parts, and Wayne, you will introduce the first two parts of the show, or during the show of PCR lab design and construction, and I will have the rest two parts on HVAC part. So now it's time for you. Okay.
Okay.
So I will stay here and you give your show.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. So, okay, firstly, I would like to give you four figures to start our presentation of the PCR lab today. The four figures are, the first one is 80 to 120. This is our standard PCR lab construction area, which is 80 square meters to 120 square meters. The second figure is 2.6, and that is the ceiling height of our PCR lab. So the third figure is 10,000, which is the cleanliness class for standard PCR lab, or in ISO standard, 10,000 grade is ISO 7, and the fourth grade is 4. 4 means our standard PCR lab includes 4 main function rooms. So let's see the typical plan of the PCR lab. Our streamer team would give you the picture on the screen, and you can see the room sections. From the right side to in the room is the reagent preparation room, and then next is the sample preparation room. The third one is amplification room, and the final one is the analysis room. And you can see, before entering the lab rooms, there is a buffer corridor. These 4 rooms should be independent to receive goods from outside the room or from the neighbor room through the pass box. Meanwhile, each room has its own airlock, and the room with 2 doors interlocking system to guarantee the air cleanliness and tightness. The test process flow is from the reagent room, reagent preparation room, to the sample preparation room, then to the amplification room, and finally move to the analysis room. Only one way is allowed, which means that is a single direction. So next, I'm going to quickly explain about the functions of each room. The first room we mentioned is the sample preparation room, and it will be used for the reagent preparation, packing, and storage. The reagent and the raw material should be passed directly into this room. And the second part of the room is the PCR reaction assembling, extracting and storing DNA and RNA. This part should control the pressure, the indoor pressure, to avoid aerosols contamination from adjacent area flows into the area. In other saying, that is the room in here, the air inside this room should be positive pressure. That means the air from other room cannot flow inside this room and cause any cross-flow contamination. So this is the presentation of the first 2 rooms. The third part of the PCR is the execution, which mainly used for the DNA amplification. And the last part of the post-PCR analysis. This room will be used for the medical staff and nurses and doctors to analyze, register, and report the amplified products. And from here, we have briefly introduced you about the 4 rooms of the PCR labs. That is the standard room of the PCR lab, and right now we have a short video to further explain about the PCR lab to you. Okay, thank you for staying with us. I hope the video that could help you understand more about the PCR Cleanroom. And right now, our streamer, my colleague Tom, is showing you a couple of the pictures that we took on the Cleanroom site. Actually, this is a PCR lab that we built in last year. And from the first picture, you can see the construction on the corridor. And when you look at it, you can see 2 windows and through inside the amplification room. And there is a pass box on the wall. That is for medical people to transfer the products from the corridor inside the room that we just talked about that a while ago. And on top of the ceiling, you can see those U-shaped mini lamps. That is the UV lamp that is for sterilization. And in every day, the light has to be on for like 30 minutes to sterilize the bacteria and virus in the air. Okay, so let's move to the next picture. From here, you can see we can see inside the situation, inside the room, through the tempered glass window. This window is flush with the wall, and you can see it's very neat. And from the window, you can see everything inside the clean room. Okay, let's move next. In this one, you can see on the floor, the PVC floor. We used the PVC roll to the pad paste on the ground to make the floor neat and nice and easy to clean. Okay, next. The last one we want you to see is the air diffuser on the ceiling. That is, the air is extracted first into the AHU and then sent through the ductings, finally sent into the room by the air diffusers. And next to the air diffuser, you can see the LED lamp that is with high brightness and great lux. And so it is bright and flat for the room to have a great sightseeing and a great view. Okay, that is about the photos we would like to show you about the clean room. And the next part, I want to introduce you about how to construct a PCR lab and what we should use. This part is mainly about the construction materials. And the first thing is that for PCR lab, it must be constructed as a clean room under ISO or GMP standard. Or external and internal construction materials and decoration materials are the same as a clean room project. Only the lab furniture are different from different clean rooms, such as the top desk, the workbench, and biosafety cabinet that is subject to different clean room. And when it comes to the construction materials, it includes sandwich panel, observation windows, doors, floors, such as the PVC floor that we just talked about a while ago, and pass box, LED lights, and so on. So at the same time, I think my colleague Tom is showing you some pictures later, so you will see what items we're talking about. And the HVAC system and equipment will be introduced later on by my colleague Johnny. And now let's talk about the partition wall and ceiling. For this part, we usually use color-coated panel with glass mechanism as the core material. This panel has excellent performance in fireproof, waterproof, and insulation. When I say insulation, I mean the thermal insulation. And for most projects, the panel thickness is usually 15 millimeters. That is enough. Well, some projects have asked for like 100 millimeters thickness. That is okay, and we can customize as per a specific project. In the meantime, we also use aluminum profiles to connect the panels and make the corners neat and clean. The aluminum profiles, I mean the inner arc and aluminum channel, the extruded aluminums. And the next part is the door. As we all know, the door is the entrance to each room for people and for raw material to go in. And we provide customized solution for the doors as well. And such as the door material and door size, thickness, and color. You have various options. We have a single open door and double open door, roller shutter door, and sliding door. Of course, for each clean room, as per the ISO standard, it also have emergency escape room. Emergency escape door as well. And the next part is the window. Window is where people can monitor the indoor situation and we usually make double tempered glass with desiccant to avoid the moisture, so that we can see things clearly without the window be wet by the air. And for the floor, we suggest PVC for small clean room that is less than 500 square meters. And that is because PVC floor is affordable and easy to install. And among the neighbor rooms, the pass box is the tour and is the entrance for people to transfer the raw materials or other objects without going inside and going out to save time. And the pass box is built on the wall for people to transfer and save time, and most importantly to avoid the aerosol contamination. And the next part is the LED lights. For the production area or other main area in the clean room, it should be flush. The LED lights should be flush with the ceiling and with high brightness, and the surface, the material of the lights should be waterproof and easy to clean. And it should have a smooth surface to keep away from the dust. We normally use purification LED lights. And besides, clean room should also have an exit and emergency signs. That is, when emergency happens, such as the power is totally out, people can evacuate by the exit signs. And hello everyone, thank you for staying with us. And for this part, we are doing the presentation of the PCR clean room. And if you are interested, we have the catalog of the clean room construction materials. So if you have any inquiry, please feel free to contact our marketing team, and our engineer is waiting you online. And right now, we have just easily go through the construction materials of the PCR clean room, and we have a video to show you about the clean room construction. And please stay with us, and hope you enjoy this video. friends, welcome back. And just now you have showed a video of what it looks like about the clean room in ISO standard, and about is my part of the construction materials and the room sections about PCR lab. And next, I'm going to invite my colleague Johnny to join us and to give his part on the HVAC system of the PCR clean room. Johnny.
Okay, well, let's check if there is any question for you. Okay. Okay. The first one is I'm interested in today's topic. I just want to know if you can plan the PCR lab for us. If we provide a ground layout and I have many hospital sources here. I think this reason I want to let you know if you can plan the PCR with we are organized PCR lab for them. If you can provide you easy layouts.
Yes, that is just a part of our service, right? Because we, at the beginning of the show, we told our audience that we can provide the design and even site installation service, right? And when it comes to the ground floor layout, and if we can get it from the customer, we can ask our engineer to have a look on the ground layout and identify some questions with the customer. For example, what is his budget, right? How many money is planned to invest on this project?
Yeah.
Another one is what is the room section that is related to his workflow and personal flow, about which room is designed for, such as the reagent preparation room and sample preparation room, amplification room, and analysis room. And for some projects, when they have a limited budget, they have the decrease 4 rooms into 3 rooms, right? They can combine the amplification room and analysis room in just 1 room. So you can have a PCR clean room in just 3 rooms, right?
Yes, actually, for the last 2 rooms, you can combine as one rooms if you have the size limit
Yes.
or the budget limit.
Yes, and of course we normally would ask clients some other basic questions, such as if they also want the clean room to be ISO 7, like us did in China. Maybe some of them would be ISO 6 or 8, right?
Yeah, different standards in different countries.
Yes, and depends on the room size. For example, if they have a bigger size, maybe the airflow, the fresh airflow and the exhaust airflow will be different with the project that we did in here.
Yes. So let's okay.
Any addition from you about this question?
Yeah, you said the ground floor layouts. I think you better to provide us a site elevation view of this building. I mean, we can better understand the building's heat and their structures.
You mean the complete drawing of the building?
Yeah, not only the plan ground layout, but also the site elevations view. Yeah, from four sides, from four sides of this building.
Okay.
Okay, the second one. I'm doing business, clean room business. I want to buy some panels and doors. Can you give me your best offer? And I need to.
Okay, to answer this question, firstly, of course, we can give you the best offer, maybe in just 1 hour, because we have done the panels and doors for many projects. And to answer your questions with correct price, we also have some questions to confirm with you, such as what panels you want. As we mentioned before, we have a difference in thickness. For example, we normally supply in 50 millimeters thickness, but perhaps you want different, such as 25 or 70 or 100. And another thing is that which material do you prefer? Normally, we provide the sandwich panel with glass mechanism, but you also can take rack wall, or even PU that is related to your project needs and depend on what product you make in your factory. For example, maybe you are providing the vaccines for chickens, for pork, and or maybe you're just producing food, snacks, or vegetables, or you are pharmaceutical factory making the pills. So that is totally subject to your project need. And for doors, of course, it is also decided by your design. For example, the door is single open or double open, open from the left or open from the right, or do you want the window or not? So that is totally decided by you. We have to talk with you with details.
Yes, actually, this you can give us the BOQ of your requirements firstly, so we can understand what we can offer you, and so we can then give you the best price. What's more, you can get the discount price in March.
Yes,
We
it's
have
just
discount and
yes,
promotion in this month.
the March Expo promotions that the discount is from 5% to 10%, subject to your order. If you order more, we can give you bigger discount, of course. And if you have any clean room project, we can offer the free design service for you. That means if you do not have the design of your project, our engineer team will do it for you without any charge. So if you have any projects, please feel free to contact us.
Yes, thanks for your questions and your answers, Wayne. Okay, time is, we have to move forward, so because time is limited. Okay, so Wayne, now is my time. Okay,
Now it's Journey's turn.
Have break. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce a critical part of the PCR laboratory, the Hvac system. I will show the designs of PCR lab Hvac system. Hvac, we know Hvac means heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Hvac system is critical to the entire PCR laboratory that creates a safe and comfortable test environment for the people working inside. So, how to make it safe? We know PCR lab is actually a very sensitive to the working persons. The first one is about the PCR lab construction. The second is, as I just mentioned, is the Hvac system. Hvac system can control the air cleanliness, room pressurization, and to avoid the air cross contamination or air leakage. The third one is separate fresh air and the exhaust air system. It means there will be a independent sky air duct system and the exhaust air system. Okay. The second one, the key point is how to make the room, the people feel comfortable. One point is we will design the PCR laboratory indoor temperature around 22 to 23 Celsius degree and 40% to 60% of the humidity, and with enough fresh air supply to each rooms. The second one is the well-organized airflow pattern. I will show you later about the airflow pattern. The third one is an accurate calculation of the air change rate. PCR lab is constructed according to the Cleanroom, ISO, and the GMP standard. So we need to consider the reasonable air change rate. Okay, now I'm going to show the Hvac system designs. The first picture, you will see the PCR lab organizations. Just as my colleague Wayne introduced, it has four main rooms. So I will skip this one. Okay. The highlight area is the PCR lab. We just introduced the test process flow. The second drawing is the return, rear, and spiral diffusion layout plan. the supply terminals will use Hvac diffuser with H14 filter. That the filtration efficiency can reach over 99%, 99. Yeah. The air circulation is like this picture. Okay. The airflow is typically supplied through the terminal Hvac diffusers mounted on the ceiling panels in a pattern that provides fairly uniform coverage. The Hvac filters are sometimes installed straight in the ductwork or air handler itself. The return is usually through the sidewall grills uniformly distributed around the periphery of the room. So you can also see the ducting designs. It has fresh air, retain air, and supply air duct with dampers. That's linked to the pictures. Okay, you can see these are typically airflow patterns of the clean room. The supply air will be introduced through the same Hvac diffusers, and the retain air will go through the bottom, the retain grills, and then mix with fresh air to the air handlers. So for the galvanized, for the ducting system, the galvanized steel or stainless steel ducting is generally required to supply air to the clean room and bring back air from the retain grills to the retain air frame. Further precautions should be taken while designing and fabricating the duct system. Okay, duct should be sealed with silicon sealants and longitudinal joints in order to make the system airtight. Ventilation ducting in stainless steel 304 materials with plasma breathing for liquid timing is preferred. The second one is rubber gas pins should be used as transverse joints. From joints must be avoided and instant pocket slips or angle iron flank joints should be used. The first one is no acoustic insulation should be provided inside the box. And dampers provided in this system should be of aluminum or galvanized steel and should have extended handle to accommodate insulation thickness. For the insulation thickness in usually 25 millimeters of the rubber insulation materials. Number 6 is retain air razor should be designed for the velocity not exceeding 1,800 fpm with a minimum velocity of 1,200 fpm at the highest spots in order to carry particulate matter around with retain air. However, the inlet velocity at the retain grill should be the range of 300 to 400 fpm, gradually increasing the same to 1,200 to 1,800 fpm. Number 7, retain air grills should be aluminum, stainless, or steel annual or epoxy paint in the construction, and prevailing should be left in each retain air reason for periodic cleaning. Today, duct cleaning equipment is available for this purpose. Number 9. When terminal filters are mounted in the floor ceiling, proper seal access door should be provided to reach the diameter above each filter. Okay. So, number 10 is the retain air grills should be located low near to the floor and made as long as possible to increase the collection of dust particles over large area. Number 11. Well located return rail. Care should be taken to avoid placing the rail near door opening into a joint low pressure room. This is done to prevent creation of a lower pressure zone near the door, thus preventing air leakage from the low pressure to high pressure room at the time of the door opening. The last is to cater for the proper supply air quantity. Balancing dampers should be installed at critical points. Opposed blade dampers should be provided about each heat pump filter in order to properly balance the air distribution system. So, all about in 12 points, it's talking about the ducting system, how we make the ducting system with a proper way, and in order to keep air tightness in the air ducting. So, how to create a safe and comfortable working environment is relevant to the Hvac equipment, which consists of air handling needs, outdoor cooling and the heating source, air ventilation ducting and controller. In order to avoid air cross-contamination with lower energy consumption, we recommend to use 100% fresh air system and 100% exhaust air system with heat recovery function. Okay, I will my colleague will show you air handling needs with heat recovery. You can see there are two. Look at this simple air-to-air heat recovery process. The fresh air and the retained air was separated. It has two units to treat the fresh air and the exhaust air. The fresh air recovery heat from the exhaust air to pre-cool from 35 degrees Celsius to 39 degrees Celsius with an efficiency of 60% or above. That's the efficiency returns to the local ambient condition, which means customer recover power or money from the exhaust air. So how much money we can recover? Our engineering team are going to offer you a report. We have a selection report of the heat recovery, and you can compare if it is without heat recovery and the cost have recovery function of this system. So, so now, if you are interested for this Hvac system solution, we recommend you just send us the inquiry shortly later this show. Okay. After this show, the fresh air was treated with filtration combines with E3 pre-filter and F5 back filter, and then pre-cooling or preheating of the air-to-air heat recovery section. That means liquid heat exchanger. After heat recovery, the fresh air will go to the cooling coil or heating coil inside the air handling unit. Then, after treated air was introduced to each of the room by ventilation ducting. Well, each room also has exhaust the air independently to the outside. In the exhaust air outlet should equip with primary and secondary and heat pump filter to avoid air cross contamination with outside air. Normally, the indoor temperature should be kept at just as I mentioned, 20 to 26 Celsius degree and 40 to 60% relative humidity. So the next, I will let you know how to make issue of the PCR laboratory with certain air pressure? The answer is the controller, the PLC controller and the project side commission. The fan of the AHU should be used variable speed type fan, also say variable frequency type. And then manual or electric drive air damper should be equipped on the inlet and outlet air diffuser and air exhaust air grill. So by the PLC control and the project team commissioning, we will create room air pressure in the PCR lab as follows as I introduced. In the reagent preparation room, there should be positive pressure, usually with 10 to 15 Pascal. The next room, the sample preparation room, there should be positive pressure with 5 Pascal. The last two rooms should be keep negative pressure. Amplification room, the pressure will be minus 5 Pascal. And the last one, analyze room, should be maintained negative pressure with minus 10 Pascal. So actually, from the first room to the last room, the pressure is also changed, and from the positive to the negative. So there is no air cross-contamination between those rooms, those neighbor rooms. Okay. That's the importance of the PCR lab. The other important part of the PCR lab is the tour of cleaning walking booths, the laboratory desk and the refrigerator, and cleaning sample cabinets, the safety cabinets should be also equipped based on the needs of the laboratory. Okay. Finally, in order to maintain the cleaning of the laboratory, the fixed and the movable UV lamps is also necessary for the lamps, for the labs. We just show you the picture of the LED lamps and the UV lamps at the beginning of the show. Those is our experimental areas, and they are all powerful domes for all corners. Okay. So it's quick for my parts on Hvac system. We will show you a video we filmed at site, and you can see a real PCR laboratory project we had completed last year. So during watching the video, you can also text your questions. We will answer you after this video. So my colleague is to open the video, and so let's see.
Hi, I'm Fauna from Airwoods. Welcome to our newly built PCR Cleanroom. During the pandemic, people used PCR to quickly diagnose if one person infected coronavirus in a shorter period. And it allows us to protect more people in a shorter cycle time. So follow the camera and take a look with me. Now where we're standing is PCR corridor. All the rooms share the same corridor. The first room is reagent preparation room. The second room is sample preparation room. Normally, sample will be contained in glasses or plastic vessel. And the third room is amplification room. Finally, we will get results from analysis room.
The PCR lab is the critical place where the virus samples will get in and get out frequently each day. In order to protect our staff and the equipment and to avoid any airborne contamination, the supply air and exhaust air in this HVAC system should be completely separate. That means 100% fresh air and 100% exhaust air applied in this PCR lab. On top of me, this is the air diffuser with HEPA filter. The airflow here is 500 cubic meters per hour. And over here, this is the return air carrier. As we all know, the filter is to screen the particulates and make the air cleaner. The complete structure of HVAC system for PCR lab are the AHU here inside, plus the air ductings and another condensing unit on the rooftop that we will cover later on. The condensing units at here are to provide cooling and heating source to AHU inside. The fresh air are going to be treated by filtering, heating and cooling, and then sent through the air ductings all the way down to the PCR lab. In a word, the HVAC system is to maintain the PCR lab, the temperature and humidity at a constant level. The entire PCR cleanroom here is built for ISO 8 cleanliness class, and for temperature, all the rooms are normally kept between 20 to 26 centigrade, and for relative humidity, the PCR lab rooms are normally kept between 35% to 60%. In terms of the room differential pressure, the reagent preparation room and sample preparation room are kept between 10 to 15 part of positive pressure. And for amplification room and analysis room, they are kept between 10 to 5 of negative pressure. Speaking of the indoor air differential pressure, the buffer room air here is normally kept at 10 part of positive pressure. This buffer area is to maintain the air balance between the neighbor two rooms. Just now, Fauna and I have introduced the details about PCR lab with all of you, and now I would like to make a conclusion with you. How to build a PCR cleanroom. First, we need to have suitable construction materials such as the aluminum profiles and sandwich panels and more. Second is the HVAC system. The fresh air from the outside to be treated by the filtering, heating and cooling coil, and then sent by the air diffuser and air ducting all the way through to each room in the PCR lab here. And at last, you want the job to be handled by people who have a lot of experience, just like us at Airwoods.
We provide cleanroom and HVAC turnkey service to our customers from all over the world. Our service range from project planning, project designing, machine recommendation, material procurement, and project site installation and commissioning, and then hand over to our customer.
So, thank you for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I think through these videos you can better understanding how the real PCR lab is, and you can see, you just see the what's main and the project side to make preparation to use the the PCR lab. Okay, so again, I want to let you know we have March Expo for cleanroom solution and cleanroom products, including the visual equipment, air handling units, and the ERV products. So
what's the discount again?
okay, 5% to 10%.
That's right.
Maximum.
That's right.
10%.
So please feel free to contact us.
Yeah.
And
now,
yes,
okay.
I will take this part. And we have some questions that related to Johnny's presentation of the Hvac. So let's get on it. The question number one is, I need more information about heat recovery system of the PCR lab. It will be considered into customers' designs. So Johnny, can you send customer the catalog? And by the way, can you supply the HVAC system equipment?
Yes, definitely. We are also the HVAC equipment manufacturer in China. Okay, so for the catalogs, you can please contact my sales team. They will send you the catalogs. For the heat recovery system or the PCR laboratory, just as you mentioned, it has two units. Liquid heat exchanger with the liquid heat exchanger to recover the air from the exhaust side to per-cool or per-heating the fresh air. So it will save the total energy consumption of the chiller or condensing unit.
Yes.
And that means you can save more power cost. You can save money. You can use heat exchange, the heat recovery system. So you just send the project, the HVAC equipment BOQ to us. We will offer you the best price in March. You will get additional discount as well. So for this question, definitely we will answer you later. Please send us.
Okay. So we hope Johnny's response is clear to you, and please feel free to contact us.
Okay.
And the next question is, I know your company, and do you have PCR lab project reference in Bangladesh? So it seems like this customer is from Bangladesh, and it will support me to show to my customer and have the opportunity to develop your business in Bangladesh.
Yes, that's a great idea, I think. And we have lots of many customers in Bangladesh. And actually, we view Bangladesh as one of the most markets for our business developments.
So you are saying Bangladesh is Airwoods, one of Airwoods' major markets?
Yeah. Especially recent years, we have established many contacts with the Bangladesh customers, especially for the Hvac project and the Cleanroom project as well. So it is a chance for, as you know, for the PCR lab, it is a chance for the next 3 years, and the governments have to pay more attention to PCR lab construction in the hospital. And yes, definitely we have some project reference in Bangladesh. The Cleanroom projects, the Hvac projects, the commercial building and the industrial building both have. We have supplied so many units, air handlers to Bangladesh. Every year, every year we have business there, and we will provide the project reference list after this show. So just contact us. If you contact us before, you just contact me again, contact us again. If you are the first time to contact us, we will show you the project reference list. And we also hope you can give more information about the customer, the company, what they do, and what we can make cooperation for future business. And we are willing to give all what we can support to them, to their customers. So yes, because okay.
So I hope Johnny's response to this question is also clear to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us or our marketing team. We are waiting for your messages. And our time goes fast. And before we end our live show today, please allow me to summarize the topics that we have covered in this past 2 hours today. And in this show, we have talked about the PCR lab used for what consists of PCR lab, what place and where the place that need the PCR lab, and how to build the PCR lab, including the construction material and HVAC system that Johnny has mentioned. And if you have any inquiry about the PCR lab or any other ISO standard or GMP standard cleanroom, you're welcome to send inquiry to us on Alibaba. And our professional team are here to bring you any help and service. So thank you again for watching. We will see you next time.
Yeah, tomorrow we will also have another live show about the industrial air handling units
Yes.
in a large
Airflow,
areas.
yes. So please stay with us
Promotion.
and follow us.
Promotion.
And again, we have the March Expo promotion that we mentioned many times that if you order in March, you will get 5% to 10% discount. So please feel free to contact us. And for this part, for our PCR Cleanroom, we also offer you the free initial design. Free means free of charge. If you have any project, please feel free to contact us. So thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.